Okay, should be fixed now. Hi everybody, happy Friday. I hope the day has been restful and or productive for y'all. Um, I'm okay, is what I would say. Um, I'm not gonna dwell on it too much. I got a lot of stuff done with Shootlancer, but probably some of it admittedly was because I got news that wasn't so great today, but less less not great than the last time I got not great news. I think is the way that I would put it. Basically, for those of y'all who may remember seeing him around when I was dog sitting on occasion, um, content warning. Gotta talk about pet death like in a second. Um, my parents got another dog after my first one when I was much younger. Um, she passed away, Ladybug, in like her sleep many years ago. Well, not that they had to like, you know, she was getting on in years, and at one point they sort of had to. She's getting older. Um, Riley, who is the dog that they had adopted, basically while Ladybug was getting older. I didn't grow up with Riley, but I would dog sit him sometimes. He was around here in the apartment sometimes when I had to dog sit for him. And I had to go see him with my parents and everything like that. And he came up with them when they moved up to the city. He was getting on too. So today they had to make the decision. I was a little better prepared because with Ladybug, what wound up happening was they didn't really get a chance to prepare me for that possibility. So they literally called and told me this while I was, I don't remember what I was doing at grad school. It was like after classes or something. I was hanging out at campus downtown, and that's when they told me. And it wasn't a good time. But that was Ladybug. With Riley, they'd given me like a little bit of a sign before that they were like, we're thinking about it because it's coming up to about that time. There were a lot of things that were difficult about taking care of him when he was getting on into his old age. But he was never necessarily a bad dog, So I think maybe the enormity of it just hasn't kind of like really settled on me yet. I imagine that there's going to be a point where I go visit my parents this weekend to go see my grandmother. Riley was already probably at least a young adult dog by the time my parents rescued him. And that was, like around sometime between 2009 and 2010. Like, Riley was living with them for a couple of years before Ladybug passed on. And Ladybug passed on when I was in graduate school. Like, my first year of graduate school, but not my second. And that would have been 2015 or 2016. So they had him for at least a little while. Either immediately before I got out of high school or not that long. And I didn't grow up with him the way I grew up with Ladybug. Stubby will tell you I grew up with Ladybug and I love she meant a lot to me, right? So it wasn't like that with me and Riley, but it doesn't make it like any less difficult to think about is what I think I'm going to say. It's a little bit, it doesn't hurt as much, but I am also acknowledging the entire possibility that it just like the entirety of it just hasn't like really landed yet, right? And I imagine that at some point it will, and then I'm going to be like, it'll be a little harder then, a little rougher then. But so I was knocking out a bunch of like Shootlancer stuff, and maybe trying to either process that or burying, admittedly, like how to deal with that. And I think at some point it will probably wind up just kind of coming all loose all at once. I don't know when. I don't think it will be on stream necessarily, but you know. Oh, I appreciate the hugs. Yeah. So I'll be okay. I think it's just gonna take a little bit. Um, until either it hits me or until like I don't really know what something will happen at some point, I imagine, and then like it will kind of come into that start. But you know, at least for right now, I'm not stressing it too much. At least as far as like when I'll feel it whenever I do. Yeah, I have nothing. I've got nothing to offer other than condolences because that's one of those things I'm not going to compared to others. I hope it's not. No, the condolences are appreciated. I know I've had people ask me like, is there anything I can do, so on and so forth, and it's like the thoughts alone are appreciated. I think at times like this, I without getting like too deep into it, not because I don't think people will be interested, but because I want to be mindful of how much I spill my guts publicly, just because they can be difficult for some people. I think for me, what happens is that, especially when I grieve, a lot of the very difficult things about it are things I just really just have to like do myself. I think in terms of like dealing with it, in terms of like, well, what can we do? How can we help? Sometimes for me, a lot of it is just like the the kind thoughts are enough usually, because there are times where it's like, honestly, I am at a point in whatever grieving process that I'm in that I'm like, I honestly could not tell you. So it's not me saying, oh no, I'm fine, just to like get people off of my back. It's not like that. I don't operate in that space. I don't It's not the way that I like to operate when I talk to people. It's more literally like, no, I would tell you if I had any idea, um, like how I was actually feeling right now in such a way that I need these concrete things. But some of this is literally just, I'm here and it's kind of all a jumble right now. Um, and so if I'm like, I don't really know what you can do, but thank you is usually the best that I have, for a variety of reasons. Yeah, pets are absolute member of the family just because they can't talk to them either. Yeah, and I think for mom and dad, this is probably it. They will probably never, not again. Um, I think so, but we'll see how that goes. Because yeah, this would have been the second time. Without getting too deep into it, um, my family has had um, my family has had a tough time, um, with pets in particular, because what happened initially is that with Ladybug, right? Um, one of my aunts who still lives in Florida, initially she was the one who got, when I was much younger, got a Jack Russell Terrier, and from there, that's when that's when the rest of the family sort of started like branching out, like getting dogs and things like that. So what wound up happening essentially was that um, Jitterbug, which was the dog that my aunt got, ultimately had 4 children. Junebug, Bearbug, Ladybug, Lovebug. Um, and so, like, Ladybug was from that first litter, and then Riley was a rescue dog. He was also a Jack Russell, but he was like mixed with something else, I think. Because he was a rescue, we didn't like know for sure, but definitely Jack. This was something else though, because he was very leggy for a Jack Russell Terrier, not very stout, relatively tall, very thin-legged. Yeah,
cause you got hard. They know that I'm non-stop. I keep on pushing forward. Highly motivated. They gotta let's get it. If you from where I'm from, you're not supposed to make.
Yeah, I always said Corgi had the color him to use and the personality. Yeah. And he was always a little jittery because, as I recall it, he was also a sibling rescue. So we mom and dad didn't take his sibling, but because of that, at least as far as I remember and understand, he was always a little jittery. You know what? I'm gonna treat myself to some Taco Bell tonight because I've got leftovers, but I don't have rice. I'm not really in the mood to cook rice or to make. I was going to make mac and cheese, but I'm also not super in the mood to sit down and fuss with that, and I deserve to treat myself a little bit. Okay, so let's warm up for the lane a little bit. Let me remember. There's one thing I want to actually test that I have not learned that I should learn. Right? So let's. Okay, that works at least. That's good. I know more of this work. So what is causing this to lag? I don't know. I don't like it. Let's get nervous. It could be that this could computer on long. Yo, Taco Bell's I feel so good. Yeah. I have a couple of foods that I would consider comfort foods in that aspect, but a lot of the other ones are more expensive than I can really let myself get these days. Okay. Probably only the corner. Corner, spinal horn. Yeah, okay, cool, that works. It's because I realized that punish counter standing heavy kick doesn't float, and I hadn't started practicing level punish. So Rhino Horn work, light Rhino Horn will work, mid screen, Double heavy scratch wheel. Double meteor volley. Oh, okay. That's thick. We can do. You gotta be close though. So at the very edge, heavy scratch wheel works. Get a little closer though. Meteor volley. And then scratch wheel. Okay, that's good to know. So let's learn ranges. 1, 2, 1, 5, 1, 4, 5. Okay, so it's a little closer. The range is a little, so the range is a little worse, I think. So the main thing I'm doing right now is just like feeling out where Elena's buttons sort of like end. Here? Yeah. And the main reason why I do this, so I guess let's talk about this for a little bit. We're gonna probably go at least a little later than we normally do tonight because I started late and I would like to get in a good couple hours on account of next Friday. I'm going to be there's no stream next Friday because I'm going to be taking I'm going to be going down into Dumbo for another event called Archway Arcade. We're going to be showing Shootlands there as well. So that's next Friday at like 7 though. So next week I'm not streaming, so I want to kind of like make sure that I actually get in like some time on stream with Street Fighter since coming back. But yeah, the thing I wanted to talk about that I think is important. A lot of what people sort of like really get into their own heads about when it comes to fighting games is stuff like combos and motion inputs and stuff like that. So here's the reason why this is coming up again, right? I posted a long thread about it on Blue Sky at some point because somebody had an opinion about it. And they were like, basically speaking, while I was at CEO, I know I saw somebody who was doing like a walk up, walk by style, like, hey, you have opinions about motion inputs, you can speak them here, sort of deal. I deliberately did not engage that because I was there in a professional capacity, and I was like, if I say something that winds up embarrassing the company, I don't want to do that on a podcast I don't know nothing about. The effect that is turning Elena blue, there is a training setting that tells you what types of cancels certain moves are allowed to do. This is just an indication that Elena's 5 MP, her standing medium punch, can only be canceled into supers. So I can do Meteor Volley. I can buffer Spar 3. Or if I was doing the Meteor Volley, or if I'm really in the mood, I can buffer Super R2. But most of the time when you're using Elena's standing medium punch, you usually want to do her other medium punch target combo anyway, because that's special cancelable. I love Street Fighter 6's training mode. It makes every other one I've used feel half-baked. So here's the thing about Street Fighter 6 in particular, right? I feel that Street Fighter 6 reflects that Capcom, and this is related to the motion input conversation, that Capcom had a lot of time to kind of like really put this game together, and it begins to show in the ways that they balance it, in the ways that it is balanced, right? Not in the sense of like, oh, this game is perfectly balanced, but the balancing decisions that they make, right? So Sejam, who is like a fighting game player, but mostly he does like a lot of like analysis of like just fighting game stuff, and he'll do like short videos that, or like he'll do shorts that are edited from his longer streams and upload them on YouTube. So Sejam recently had a whole conversation about motion inputs, right? What their purpose is in fighting games, his opinions about why they exist. Sejam is like a pro motion controls person. Motion inputs or motion controls, for people who don't know, talking about having to do quarter circle forwards and quarter circle backs and things like that for special moves, which is something that you see in like Street Fighter, King of Fighters, Dragon Ball Fighters, things like that, versus games where you don't have those motion inputs. Many examples being things like Blade Strangers, the new Hunter x Hunter Nen Impact game, Invincible Versus, which just got announced recently, DNF Duel. Though DNF Duel has an option to do motion inputs in order to, for some of your moves, in order to improve the mana recovery for them, which has other implications, but I don't want to get too deep into that. The main thing that Sejam was saying is that, like, a lot of the time when people push back against motion inputs, they say usually that it's like they're inaccessible, they're really opaque, they make the game more difficult to get into, all these other things, right? And from certain perspectives, right, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that there are physical aspects to doing motion inputs that can be a problem sometimes. Like, if we're talking strictly from the spot of accessibility, yes. Part of how you deal with that is making sure that, one, controller support for whatever you're doing is better supported, and two, that you let buttons be rebound, amongst other things, because that helps mitigate that to a certain extent. The other thing, though, is that from a design perspective, and what Sejam said very carefully was not that fighting games have to have motion inputs in order to be good. He didn't say that. What he did say was the reason why they exist is because it is a matter of, and this is something that I wound up saying also, Invincible Versus is a tag team fighting game based on the comic that's being adapted by Amazon. That is a thing that is happening. They're doing a tag fighter with the characters of the TV show Invincible, which is based on the comic book of the same name. That is the thing that is happening. But right, the thing about motion inputs. So here's something important. Let's sort of demonstrate it like this, right? When I do links here, right? Link's, I forget if Link's song. When I do Link's song here, right, I have to do 2, 3, 6, down, down, forward, forward, and do that, right? I cannot block unless while I can block first before doing a Link's roll, a Link's song, I have to be holding like down, back for that. And if I'm not careful about it, and if I try to just like roll from down, back to down, forward, it doesn't work, right? I have to actively. Am I having a moment? Just because I'm thinking too hard about these, but like I have to actively like be holding down. Like I can do it from down back if I roll quickly enough. So I can like block and do this, and that's one thing, right? But for Scratch Wheel, especially like OD Scratch Wheel, which is like basically my best anti-air, I have to. And when I say have to, I mean have to. I have to do forward, down, down, forward, right? And some people are like, right, that motion is unintuitive. Like, why? Because especially OD Scratch Wheel, I can blow through anything with OD Scratch Wheel. So the reason why the motion input starts with a forward is so that I can't defend. I have to stop defending at some point if I intend to use Scratch Wheel. Like if I'm blocking or whatever, I have to stand up, start with forward, and do the rest of the motion in order to do scratch wheel. Right? So I cannot use scratch wheel and defend at the same time. Hey, Rigel. And that is one of the major reasons. Is the number next to the... Yes, correct. In this case, it tops out at 99 frames, but you can be holding it for longer than 99. It's just that the frame input doesn't display longer than a 99 frame hold. But anyway, the main point that I was getting at is that this is why motion inputs exist the way they do. Because to a certain degree, it is about balancing the power of certain moves or the utilities of certain moves with the defensive considerations you have to make in order to use them. That is the point, right? For example, Lena's Super Art 2, 11 full frames of total invincibility, because Meteor Volley doesn't have that, right? Meteor Volley is a combo tool primarily, like you cannot use it for reversals. However, Elena's Super R2, for the distance that it covers, will allow you to basically blow through almost anything, and is especially good as an answer to people that are trying to throw projectiles at you from a certain distance, right? A lot of other characters need a Super Art 3 in order to do that. Elena doesn't. With Super Art 2, she can just do that. But with Super Art 2, right, the motion for that is 236, 236. 2 quarter circles forward, and then punch. There is a point at which you have to stop defending and commit time to doing this input in order to get through. And the result, and the reward that you get for that, is a move with 11 frames, with like 11 frames of invulnerability. So you can use it to beat projectiles, you can use it to beat attacks, blast through and crack people's skulls open, right? It's really, really good. And that is that's primarily the purpose of motion inputs. It is about making you consider in the moment that you're going to have to be defenseless physically in order to do this thing. It's not just, oh, we want to make it harder to make it harder. The reason why motion inputs exist in fighting games is to do that. Again, this is not to say that you cannot make fighting games without motion inputs, and nor that it is right or wrong to do it with or without. That's not the point. You can do fighting games without motion inputs, but if you do that, you have to consider how to replicate that same risk-reward sort of thing, right? With Street Fighter 6, for example, one of the things about modern players do not have to nearly do, I'll demonstrate for you, by going to the command list so y'all can see the input styles. So, right, as an example, for Scratch Wheel, even if you're doing Scratch Wheel in modern mode, which basically gives you a special input button that you can then use to do other stuff, right? Even with Scratch Wheel, you have to hold forward and then press the special button in order to actually do Scratch Wheel, even in modern mode. Right? So it's still replicating the you cannot defend and do this at the same time sort of thing. I believe modern also eats like a damage penalty when you're doing stuff raw. I forget exactly. But if you notice, like Meteor Volley, there's the food. Hold on. Team keeps freezing for me. I had the crush hit 6 times already. I'm not dropping frames either, so it's not me in this case, but that is unfortunate. Okay, so Meteor Volley is invincible against jumping, but it doesn't have wake up. It doesn't have full invul. That's useful to know. So, right, If you look at these inputs, though, for the super arts, if you look at the super art inputs here, though, you can see that, for example, Revival Dance and Song of the Grasslands, you can do both of those by either holding back, respectively, or down, respectively. So, the main advantage that modern players have in Street Fighter 6 is that it is a lot easier for them to do certain things on reaction in response to the opponent doing something. And that can be very difficult to deal with, right? But the trade-off for that convenience is that modern players do eat a damage penalty in terms of how much damage they can do. Modern players also, in exchange for having this convenience, because their buttons are all consolidated across basically 4 inputs plus 2 that are reserved for drive impact and drive rush. What this winds up doing is that there are certain normals or other things that you don't have access to on demand. Classic basically gives you, think of it as a difference between driving manual transmission versus automatic transmission in a car. With a manual transmission, you have to make sure that you use the clutch correctly on top of making sure that you navigate into the right positions. Automatic transmission, you don't have to worry about that at all, right? But for some people, with manual transmission, they find that they have better control over certain aspects of the way that the car works. And automatic is still perfectly serviceable. The difference mostly is that this is fighting games are a whole different animal, right? But that's essentially the difference between, or that's the best metaphor I can come up with as the difference between using classic and modern. The main sort of point that I have in this discussion is that a lot of people, again, leaving aside questions about accessibility, because that's very different. A lot of people wind up saying things like motion inputs are archaic, they shouldn't be in fighting games, they make the games too complex. But here's the thing, right? As I've said in terms of talking about other fighting games that don't have motion inputs, there's some games that don't have motion inputs or have minimal motion inputs that are still really, really hard to play. And I want to point out that a lot of it really is that and I said this in a really long thread on Blue Sky, but if your first thought when you come into learning a fighting game is I have to master motion inputs before I can have fun, you've already lost the plot. That's not the point. The reason I say that is because the real other consideration that you really, at least if you're really, really intent on getting or improving at fighting games, is what I say. Instead of getting good, I'm going to say improving at fighting games. If you want to improve, yes, knowing combos and like getting your motions clean and stuff is all part of that and is all very important. But the main thing is that if your hits can't land, it doesn't matter. If people are able to jump in on you freely and you're not at least blocking them when they try to jump in on you, it doesn't matter what combos you know, how well you have your inputs down. So what I'm saying mostly is that, and what I posited on Blue Sky is that motion inputs are like getting too fixated on, I have to get them perfect in order to learn how to play. If I can't do motion inputs perfectly, there's no point in playing. You're thinking about this the wrong way. Do you think that Beyonce, on her first day of singing lessons, sang like Beyonce? No. Okay, maybe. Wait, Raju, you get one. You're right. That's fair. Okay, better example. I'll go back to the cliche. Rome wasn't built in a day. Right? You can't... And I'm saying this just in a very general sense, right? I'm not saying, oh, you absolutely have to like study and become a frame monster and do all these other things if you want to enjoy fighting games casually. No. If you just press buttons, occasionally do a thing, be fine in fighting games, that's fine, right? That's not me throwing shade at anybody who decides not to like investigate or interrogate or learn fighting games. You don't have to do that in order to have fun playing a fight. You don't. The main thing for a lot of people is that like don't hyperfixate on being able to do all the cool things out of the gate. You gotta give yourself room to grow into learning these things, right? Because what a lot of, and this is not me saying that like, oh yeah, fighting games can't be hype, because they can be, right? And there are things about fighting games that are extremely hype, and I do like love and enjoy them in a lot of ways, right? Like it would be disingenuous of me to like suggest other things, right? But like a lot of the time, and I think this is sort of just related to other things that I yell about, like generative AI on like Blue Sky also as well. The thing is that everybody or a lot of people want to get past the boring part of a certain thing and get to the fun part right away, right? Like if I can't get to the fun part right away, then what's the point? And it's like, the thing is, at least with certain things, right? This is not me saying, oh, if you're not having fun playing the game, then you just gotta sink more time into it and you'll enjoy it. Not necessarily, right? But my main thing is mostly that, like, with fighting games especially, don't focus so much on, like, I gotta learn all of, like, the hard, complicated stuff in order to really enjoy it right away. No. Feel out the game first. Do you even like moving around in the game? Does it feel good to press buttons in the game? Like, do you actively, like, enjoy just the act of moving around in this game? Does it feel good? Right? Is this something that you like? Is it something that, like, you legitimately enjoy, like, that brings you joy to, like, play and try things out in? Right? And if the answer to those questions is, like, no, right? Like, if this isn't something that you're, like, enjoying like that, then, like, the motion inputs are not going to be the problem. The motion inputs will, like, learning how to do motion inputs will not make you like the game better, right? Like, you will just more fundamentally just have issues with other parts of the game, and you're not going to enjoy yourself, right? And that's why it's like the whole thing about, like, oh yeah, you know, motion inputs are arcade. It's like, no, that's not the problem. Like, if you don't want to play a game with motion inputs, I'm not going to tell you, oh, you're like being a scrub or whatever. It's not my point. But they exist for a reason, and games can be made without them, and it is not wrong to have games that don't have motion inputs. That's fine. It's just one of those things where it's like, they exist for a reason, and you should consider what that reason is, and you should also consider that there is nothing wrong with the fact that they exist, right? And also consider that if you're having issues playing a game, motion input may be part of the issue, but that a lot of the other, especially with fighting games, a lot of the other fundamental things that people have issues with sometimes have nothing to do with the motion input at all. Makes me wonder if I should have restarted the computer before I got on, because I know that I've had the computer on for a while, but if nobody else is having issues, because I'm also checking to see every now and then if I get dropped frames, just in case it is me for whatever reason. That doesn't work. Stopping me when they start trading. Round 2. Fight. But yeah, like my main point mostly in the things I was saying is that like with fighting games in particular, right? Like, again, not talking about it from like the accessibility point of view, but just like in terms of like, right. If you're having a hard time learning a fighting game and you immediately just say, oh, it's the motion inputs, it's like, it's not. There are other things, especially if you're just learning the game, there are probably other things that you are not yet really like fully accomplished at, that are really much likely or more likely to be the problem, right? But yeah, there are probably other things that you are either not doing or don't understand yet that are more the problem, or as much of a problem as the motion inputs. And even if you got your motion inputs perfect, as long as you didn't resolve that issue, you would still you'd still be having problems with the same things that you're having problems with. It's just what it is, right? So yeah, there's that change that they made to Mai's charged bands. Y'all can kind of see a little bit of it now, right? That whenever she throws one, I can still walk backward. Before, I would be forcibly kind of like locked down if I tried. Just to put a little bit of stank on their drive meter, stress them out a little bit. I respect that they tried, but no. Round 1. Fight. Yeah, good one. And this is kind of Mai's whole thing, right? Like, if she gets a knockdown, she'll throw a fan and use that for pressure. Oh, nah, that's my fault. I got it better. Bachi. Mine. I don't know if this one's going. Damn. All these flavors you chose to be salty. That's sad. But yeah, to go back to my original point, right? A lot of what people wind up wanting to put onto fighting games in terms of like, oh, why they're not popular. So like people sit and like really sit on motion inputs as the main thing, and it's like, no. There are things that fighting games don't teach well, like teaching you like how to think about like spacing and timing and things like that. Like fighting games are not really good at that. It's like it's very hard thing to teach. Like through many of the mediums that like video games teach things, it's a little hard to teach these things, right? These are concepts that are also largely about like understanding player psychology as much as they are about like mechanically doing certain things, right? And that can be a little bit difficult, right? It is. It's hard. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that it's not, but it is. It's very difficult. It is, right? But people will zoom in really hard on motion inputs as if, right, there aren't so many other aspects to like how fighting games work that are equally as difficult to kind of like grasp, right? And I say this as somebody who loves fighting, right? Like, I'm not going to pretend that like fighting games have always tutorialized well. They haven't. Fighting games are half mind games, like just a chess and poker match together. Yeah, right? And a lot of people and again, I don't mean this as like a diss necessarily. This is just me being very honest about like this particular perception, how I particularly see it. A lot of people are not built to deal with mind games. They're not, and it's not because they're like losers or bad people or whatever, right? But it's like you have to. There is a certain level of like there's a certain level of there's a certain level of like I pushed too hard and made it up. Yeah, it's a very specific way of thinking. Isn't natural for everyone. Yeah, right. And it's one of those things where it's like, and so the thing that I usually wind up imploring people, ultimately, if they're like, yeah, I tried fighting games and they're not for me, I try not to be like, well, have you just tried X, Y, Z things? Because most people know their minds better than I do. But the things that I take offense to are things like, oh yeah, all you have to do in fighting games is just mash and you're fine. And it's like, no, like, fighting games are much more intricate than that, right? Like, I'm not going to sit here and try to, like, sell you on it as, like, the second coming of, like, Jesus or whatever, necessarily. But fighting games are, like, a lot more story than just, oh yeah, you just button mash and click, right? Or motion input's bad, and that's why I can't win at the fighting game. Like, no, there are probably other reasons aside from that. Probably. Like, again, I'm not talking about like accessibility stuff in here because that is a legitimate argument, and I'm not trying to like downplay that as an aspect of, right, why people might struggle with fighting games. I'm not. That's not the kind of human being that I am. Like, I acknowledge that it's difficult in these aspects, but I'm also saying that there are other things about fighting games that are difficult to learn, have as much or more of an impact as like motion inputs, like learning motion inputs. Because I guarantee you that like there are some people who are like, I don't want to play a game with motion inputs. They go play something like Blade Strangers, and they eat immense amounts of shit. And it's not because they're bad, but because Blade Strangers still has relatively intricate combos, despite the fact that like you don't have motion inputs and things like that. You still have to consider the aspects of things like, right, well, right now it smashes this one, but I can't do that against. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, like taking the motion inputs out of it will not save. I'm not gonna say save because that's a little bit accurate also. Taking the motion inputs out of fighting games will not fix the issues that some people have with them, because some of it is also just about like how people. I'm trying not to speak too generally here because I understand that everyone is different, right? But like, there is a lot to be said about the fact that like people have a very difficult time psychologically with the concept that sometimes people have a very difficult time with the concept psychologically that fucking up is okay. And like some people, oh hang on, thank you so much for the 60 months sub. That is in fact 5 years of affiliate. Yeah, affiliate anniversary is probably sometime. Yeah, it was sometime recently, wasn't it? And I never even celebrated because I either was out of town or I forgot about it. Oops. I feel a way about that. But thank you, Stubby. I do appreciate it. Exclamation point hype in the channel, in the chat, please. For that. It really has been about, yeah, it's been about 5 years. I started streaming, around the 18th and 19th. Yeah, so it would have been either yesterday. My affiliate anniversary probably is actually in the Gilded, and I just can't be arsed to look. It'll be all about the game section. It's probably what it is. Oh. Guess I'd have to see if I have a way of finding out then. Steam still hiccups on her. Unfortunate. Yeah, if you wind up having a peace out with the cat wizard, I understand. I'm not nearly as bad as the PC. Okay. Yeah, I might be here. That's critical art. I was not in a good condition. I wasn't poisoned, so I didn't lose as much as I could have, but yeah. I was sitting there thinking about it, I'm like, I'm probably dead, though. Yeah, that's good. Now that we have, I saw it start out.
Is my poison kicking in?
Round 2. Fight.
But yeah, that was all in so many words to say that, like, but the main point that I was making and how that kind of like relates to the whole like issue of like instant gratification that I feel like is like a legitimate thing to kind of like worry about in the is that a lot of people have sort of and I'm entirely guilty of this too, right? A lot of people have sort of let a very important sort of skill atrophy for them, and that skill is like the art of being like okay with the fact that you are not going to master something immediately. That there are certain things that, by the nature of the way that you learn how to do them, are just going to take time to learn how to do them. Or even not even well, just take time to learn how to do, right? And a lot of it is like rooted in this idea that like if you can't do something perfectly immediately, then you know what's the point of doing it, right? And the thing that's dangerous about that is that, you know, you're not allowing yourself time to like, you're not really allowing yourself time to absorb things. And this is why, in particular, I was sort of treating this as a, this is also leading into certain conversations about like generative AI and things like that. Like people are so averse to actively like taking the time to like learn how a thing works, right? That they are willing to let a big yes slot machine basically tell them a bunch of stuff that's not true about the way a thing works, just so that they either don't have to do any thinking about how they feel about a thing on their own, or either because they don't want to have to do any thinking about how to approach something on their own, or because they don't respect that it is okay for something to take time, right? Like, oh, I have to think about how to actually write an email that says this thing. Yes, you do, because it is important that you sit and you think about, even if you don't like necessarily spend like 24 hours cogitating over it, but it's important that you learn how to express, and I don't even mean like artistically, I just mean in terms of just like how you talk to other people as a human being, right? It is very important for you to like learn and to continue to cultivate and develop and hold on to, right, your actual ability as a human being to decide for yourself how it is you want to say certain things, right? And I'm not even talking about like, oh, you know, you have to have like $10 words in your hat or whatever, right? I'm not talking about that, right? Like, being good at communicating is not necessarily about having a really big vocabulary or whatever, right? It's about are you capable of conveying the sentiments that you intend to convey? Are you capable of conveying the sentiments that you want to convey and be understood? And you don't have to use big words for that. You don't need to like have words. You don't need to have like $1 billion words or whatever for that. You can, as long as you actively are cultivating like the way that you talk to people about things, the way that you right, the way that you express the way that you feel about certain things, even if you're not using like big words. If you give a shit about the thing that you were trying to say, then eventually you can be understood. That's my perspective on it, right? And so the issue with like trying to outsource all your things to ChatGPT or whatever is that you deliberately throw away your ability to like reason for yourself why. You feel the way you do about it, right? And that's not great either. And this is why I was like, going back to the thing about like how to waste fighting again, right? A lot of the people who say, or like tout the praises of generative AI or whatever, talking about the skip past the point part and get like a fun thing. But here's the thing, right? Using fighting games is better. Am I doing a lot of like optimal combos with Elena right now? No, not. But a lot of how I'm winning is not necessarily by like doing optimal combos. Obviously, like optimizing if I would like to get better is like a part of it. I'm not saying that it's not, but my focus is mostly on like right now in particular, like how do I make sure that I'm like checking with particular things that I want to check? How am I making sure that like I get used to feeling out my buttons in the way that they work in neutral, right? Like the combo shit is like whatever, because it doesn't matter. Like I could sit down and I could have sat down and lab out like super optimal Elena combo right now if I really wanted to, right? But it doesn't matter if I haven't learned how to confirm, oh, is the opponent standing up or not? Because for Elena, it's really important that you're able to do that, because a lot of her really damaging options only work on opponents that are standing up, right? So lot of like what I'm worried about as an Elena player right now is not even necessarily like, oh, how do I get like the sickest combos, but more like, how do I like really set up and control my spacing in ways that like allows me to mind game and pressure people and really put them through the ringer in that sense, because that is the stuff that I really like live and trade off of, right? Like combos are important, combos matter, and combos will help close out rounds and stuff like that. But like, of what use is the combo if I can't even like just land hits, right? Like if I can't land hits, if I can't control the space that my opponent is in. Combo doesn't mean anything, right? Like, really, ideally speaking, right? In an ideal world, I'd be working on like figuring out what my other anti-air options are aside from my stats, right? I guess like couching heavy kick will work because it reaches upward, but if I want like my best one, I gotta do a combo, like pop somebody like that. Right? Like that, right? It's like for me, one of the things I know that one of my weaknesses as a player is the fact that I don't anti-air very well, and I know that. And that's something that I want to improve on, right? And sure, motion inputs may have like a part of that, but I can also just learn how to air-to-air better, like that, or like, even if it's not like the most punishing response, right? It's still a response, right? And even learning how to do that better is just as important as learning like a dozen combos or whatever, right? Learning how to hold my space better learning how to hold my space better with better use of my normal
comes a new challenger.
It's important, right? And those are all skills that you can learn without knowing motion. And those are arguably just as fundamental, right? Because if you can control
Interesting.
I'm ready to go.
Round one. Fight.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, Bison's gonna be interesting because if you remember what I said from like the last time I fought against the Bison, the thing about Bison is that while he's not a very fast character, he is very good at like especially once he's gotten started, like pressure is sort of what he specializes in, even though he's not a very fast character. And so the main thing with Bison is that he has very poor defensive options, especially without meter. If he can like get a knockdown on you, or get in a situation where he can like knee press you a little bit, you have a bad time. Not gonna kill, but I don't need it to. I want to get burnout on Bison, just like scare him a little bit. Because again, psychological pressure, right? Like, the psychological pressure of, okay, now like I've reduced your health in this particular way, right? And I know that you have Super R3 on deck, and primarily what I can do at this point is yeah, I could launch her. Yep. A lot of the time, especially if people are in like that mid-tier of this game, they may think that when you get them near the corner and they're burned out, they may assume that you're going to go for a drive impact. And so what that lets you do is, if you manage to like sort of psychologically press your advantage against somebody who's like that, you can avoid doing drive impact in the corner, and then very good. Yeah. Psycho Punisher. It's gonna hurt, but I'm not dead. So yeah, that's the thing I meant, right? Like, Bison is not a very mobile character, but if Bison manages to get into a position where he, has the opportunity to pressure you, then you wind up having a very hard time making him stop. The fact that I blocked that is, I'm gonna give myself a dub for that. I missed it. Ah. Unfortunate.
M. Bison wins. Round 1. Fight.
That's not safe. Woo! So yeah, right? This is why I'm like, you notice that I'm not like, I know I have combos, but you'll notice that I'm not doing like, and some of this does get me killed in some aspects, right? Where I'm not immediately going for like the most optimal punishes all the time or whatever. Some of it is I don't know them yet, but also some of it is that like, the important part is that, at least for me, I value to a certain degree the more fundamental parts of like my actual skill set as a player. That's fair. Psycho, sure, but I don't have the Psycho Mine on me, so that's good. They would have perfect parried that if they got the direction right. Unfortunate. That's fair. Nope. I need to be careful about that. Agony.
Round 2. Fight.
Oh, that links. That's actually good to know. That's fair. This might kill. It might not. Because spin size off of lights is not super damaging necessarily, but the damage from Super Art 3 is nothing to sneeze at. Yeah, I have no clue how Lynn is going to shake out in the meta. She may not be a good character. I don't know. But I'm having fun. I'm enjoying. Fair. Trixie. Trixie habits. Oh, that's more than one hit. Oh, that's more than 3 hits, rather. Ah, fair. I miss. Meteor volley might have hit there? Maybe? Ooh! Got with the overhead. Right? Like, stuff like that is what I'm more interested in sort of, like, figuring out with Elena right now over, like, the immediately, like all of the immediate, like, hyper, like, all the immediate, like, hyper, optimal combo stuff, right? Because that's cool. I'm not saying that it's like, oh, I'm better than that, I don't need that in order to be good. I'm not saying that. But it's more like, it is a second concern to me because, you know, there are a lot more things that I can sort of, like, get out of just kind of, like, making sure that I sort of felt out and understood more of, like, my fundamentals with playing the lane, you know? Getting a better sense of where her normals land and where I can push certain buttons and how, what kind of, like, even if it's just like basic sort of like level 0, what are strategies that I can use to, like, like a thing that I am noticing now that I know I'm probably not going to be able to put into practice really well for a while. Ooh, that's a plus. Okay. In situations where I feel like people are trying to, like, walk back from me, that is especially, like, this is true of a lot of characters in Street Fighter 6, but with Elaine in particular, situations where you feel like people are trying to walk backward away from you, especially with Elena, that's when you want to do, like, her, that's when you want to do her, crouching medium kick, because Ah, no. Meteor volley doesn't reach. Unfortunate. Scatchfield might have done it. Scatchfield might have just been fine there.
That was
Round 2.
Right, but that's important stuff to know, right? Okay, so like, so OD Psycho Crusher is like safe. That's fair. I get it. Ah, there's the throw. That's fair. It'd be the perfect parry that now smash I would have been. This might kill though, because I got that off of target combo.
let's end this on a radio.
Nah, I wish.
Elena.
Yeah, they're good, which is fine. First to 3, first to 5 is always fine, even if they don't like say it outright, because you can't necessarily. That's fine. But yeah, like for me, a lot of what I am enjoying or getting out of this right now, personally, has been in like, you know, a lot of what I've been appreciating and getting out of Street Fighter 6, and especially at least these early days of Elena. Landing certain combos, does it feel sick? Yes, but I also sometimes just enjoy understanding better just the, oh, okay, I understand this spacing thing better. Now, I understand this particular trick for like getting under somebody's, getting in somebody's head a little bit better now, and I enjoy having that. That's good. I did not have. So yeah, this is a modern Mai, which means that like, yeah, jumping in on them is going to be a lot harder because again, they can just do forward heavy. I could throw. Yeah, I'm cooked now. Because basically I would have had to super in order to get through that without eating an entire bag of shit, and I just didn't react fast enough. Nah, I wasn't close enough. Good throw. Take it through. Ooh, yeah. I know, statue would have been perfect to kill right there. I missed it. Because they were close enough to the corner that, getting the standing heavy kick means that pushback would have stopped once they hit the corner wall. And then, statue would have been fine, wouldn't have missed. Yeah, that's not as good of an option as it used to be. That used to work better before the patch of Elena in it because I'll probably cook though. I tried to match after doing her parries, and I didn't. It wasn't my turn. The thing is that she used to get flame stocks from her Super Art 1 much sooner before the patch that introduced Elena. As part of nerfing Mai, they changed it so that basically Mai has to come out of her flame super in order to actually get flame stocks. Before, it was a lot. The point at which she got, the point in her animation in which she gets them here now, right? And that causes an issue for mine now, which is one of those things where it's like, if you block the super and hit her, you deny her flame stock a lot easier than you used to be able to. You're probably just gonna get cooked by Produce, and it's okay. I got suckered. But you remember how I said before that, like, with modern players, they don't have to, if they've got really good reactions, the fact that they can just do supers faster means that it's, and there's some people who get really annoyed about that, right? Where they just go, oh, that's not fair, that's super cheap. And it's like, this is why modern has a damage reduction, but also you can leverage the fact that modern players can react faster against them in certain aspects. Because what you can do is, especially if you know a modern player who if you know a modern player who's like especially prone to like like reacting with every little thing with like super or some other thing, you can actually like, you can much more easily bait modern players into like, you know, reacting with the things that they shouldn't react with. That's fair. Yeah, this is basically how most matches against Awesome go, by the way. Like, either the sim player is really good because they've been doing this for like forever, and they understand how to make the noodle guy do the funny noodle guy things really well, or they get immensely coached. This is someone who, it feels like they do understand the way that like Dawson works fundamentally, which means that a lot of this is that I need to like try to yeah, this is also a common thing for Dawson, by the way, where like Dawson will throw a yoga fire and then like use a teleport in order to like force know, the more I think about the physical mechanics of how Dawson's punches and kicks work, the less I feel like they should do any damage. Shrug. Honestly, I kind of was like pushing my luck there, because if that Dawson would reacted with Super Art 3 when I did that drive impact, I would have eaten all the shit. Because Super Art 3 would have broken through. Super Art 3 would have broken through the armor on my drive impact, and I would have died. Basically. Yeah, and the slide spaced out that far when you got me.
That was fun! Let's do it again!
Round 2.
I love Elena. She's such a cheerful character. It makes my heart very happy. Season 3 DLC for this game is fucking stacked. I'm just saying. I'm still excited about it, even thinking about it now. Like, unfortunately for Dawson Super Art 2, if you're not standing up when he does it, either if you throw him, if you throw him or you hit him out of it fast enough when he does Super Art 2, he eats an entire bag of shit. It's very unfortunate. Figured out how to deal with this thing that this particular Dawson does, where they'll do the yoga fire and then teleport to like force the switch. I haven't figured out how to deal with that yet. Oh, that might be the answer, actually. And the trick is to keep walking like this, and then you block. Okay, yeah, that's the trick. Alright, that's cool. I wanted to do Rhino Horn. Unfortunate. Good. Yoga Flame. Yeah, so that's the trick. Basically, whenever Dawson does Yoga Fire and the touch teleport, you walk forward. Paradoxically, you give up on blocking the fireball and just move to block the teleport. It doesn't work when he does that though, but that's it doesn't work when he does OD Yoga Fire because it'll bounce. So the bounce means that like you kind of just eat shit and you're sort of stuck with dealing with it. But if he just does like yeah, it's the worst actually. Alright. I was expecting that to work, actually. I thought that the bounce would kind of, like, put me in a situation where I was pretty fucked. I wonder where the window is. Yeah, it was 3 hits, so if I could... Oh, I stood up. Okay. But that's good to know. So even against against EX. Oh. I'm not getting my Link's Stong cancels out of spin side as frequently as I would like. Yeah, see? Like, so basically if you walk as if you don't even want to block the fireball, That's how you get out of that setup. Yeah, see, like that. There we go. And the reason why that combo worked is because the corner, Awesome's backward movement, once he got to a certain point, so I was just able to do meteor volley, and then yeah, like the only time that like the trick that I was talking about doesn't work if it's like yoga arch and slide, because then what will happen is that you'll try to block the other way, you get hit by slide and you eat shit. Yeah, good. Yoga Inferno to break the super armor. Yeah, see? Yeah, that's not safe. Yeah, go. But yeah, Dhalsim's body still moves, even when he stretches, he's still moving with like actual momentum for the heavier ones. So I don't see any reason why they should do less damage actually, unless you're not talking about that. Yeah, good throw. Yeah, see, and now they're starting to do other things aside from throw yoga arch backwards teleport, because obviously, right? Bones can't stretch, and it just stops up the stretches. Oh, okay, that's the trick. Alright. Okay, I learned something important here that I didn't realize before. This is actually very good. I'll share it in a minute after, at whatever point after I'm done with this set against this Dhalsim. Yeah, as you see, OD Yoga Arch is active for like 6 billion years. That move is really scary. Yeah, good block. Ooh, you tried it. I respect it, but nah. Nah. Unfortunate. I saw it, and I'm like, alright, let's try Super Art 2. Oh, that's fair. Thought I had him, but like. Nope, they were anticipating that, which means I probably should have done it. I should have done another low instead, because they may not have been expecting that. They're expecting the overhead, which means I'm getting too predictable. Yeah, I stood up. Realizing I haven't done anything chaotic in a while. Fair. I didn't want to have to spend this much meter, but it's the only way to get the kill. Not ideal, but I'll get that authorized for you in a little bit, Rachel. I'll give them the first of three. So Rigel did the authorize, and I don't want to let that sit and forget to actually do it. So let me go grab the stuff. Main regret as far as 0-1 merchandise goes is that I didn't get as much of it as I could while the show was still actively running. I probably could have afforded more of it. I probably could have afforded most of it then. What happens once a Kamen Rider series is finished is usually that the merch is a lot harder to get because obviously they're focusing on doing stuff for the current season, right? So it becomes a lot harder to get. So like there are a bunch of ProGrides keys for the 0-1 driver that I really wanted to get. I would have to go hunt down like second hand, third hand, or otherwise, because the stock that they probably have is either long gone or near gone by now, unless reissues come out. Because like 0-1 aired 5 years ago, I want to say. Henshi! Flaming Tiger! So like right now, for example, the current airing Kamen Rider series is Kamen Rider Gav. Up until Gab finishes, it will be relatively easier to get a hold of like um, the transformation belt Gav, all of the Gochizo that go into making up um, Gav's transformation gear and all that, a lot easier to get a hold of now while the show is still airing. Once it finishes and as it dwindles down, it's going to get harder and harder. But because, thank you for that authorized redeem, by the way, Rigel. But because, you know, so, it is relatively difficult, especially if you don't have the scratch for it. It's difficult to get to sort of like keep full and proper sets of Kamen Rider equipment because they're trying to sell toys. So
Now, find a new rider.
it's illegal to skip the intro in the Elena Mirror match. Here's why. They fist bump. Or they touch fists right at the start. Ooh, nice. Horn. I saw the vision there. I respect it. I should have done Rhino Horn Scatchfield. I would have gotten it then. Ooh, good jump out. Yeah, I respect that you tried it, but you left the gap there. I didn't see what they did, but they left the gap there, and I was fortunate enough to mash through it. I think it might have been yeah, it's spin scythe. You cannot use spin scythe on like the first two hits will hit on people who are crouching, but spin scythe is really only good if you like absolutely are sure that you've got if you confirm the hits. Like, you gotta confirm the hits for spin scythe, because what happens is if you don't confirm the hits and they happen to be, if you don't confirm the hits and the person you're fighting happens to be crouching when you try to spin scythe, you'll leave a gap with at least the light version. Maybe not the medium and heavy versions, but you leave enough of a gap that you can do that if they're crouching. That's good. Okay. Yeah. They're leaving. There's like a gap in the Yeah. Yeah. See. So like again, a lot of like Elena's really good stuff you can really only use if people are standing up. So with Elena, the main thing you have to do is like you have to force people to, especially if you're trying to like connect from like her lows or certain other things, you want to force people to like be standing so you can like catch them with stuff like that, right? Or that's good. I know. Yeah. Yeah, they knew. Good. He's not gonna kill, but I wanna do this. Damage on the board. Make them sweat a little bit. Oh no, it doesn't recover fast enough. And this is why, like, yeah, like this is why, like, Rhino, like, if you just do Hail Mary Rhino Horde, don't do that. First of all, if they crouch, Rhino Horn will whiff, and you eat a ton of shit. It's not ideal. I feel like that probably should have comboed if they'd gotten the timing better. Good throw. And if I tried to drive impact that, I would have eaten a ton of shit. Ooh, they were looking out for that. That's good. Okay, yeah, that's fair. They got me.
Elena, win! Round 1. Fight!
Yeah, see, they like to mash on wake up a little bit, so. Yep.
Round 2. Fight!
Okay, that's interesting. Get scratch wheel. Yeah, nah, I'm cooked. I might die from this because that was raw. Yeah, that was fucking raw. That was raw CA. No scaling. And at the help that I had, yeah, I was hooked. Alright. Rhino Horn. Ooh. Yeah. Elena's so cool. Look at her. Just look at her.
Round 1. Fight!
Nope. That's my fault. Night, Stubby. Okay, so this person likes to just mash jabs on wake up. Yeah, see? Like, they like to do that a lot, which means that... Yeah. So there has to be a way for me to be able to, like, actually put the fear of God into them for that. I feel like I want to just like pop them with like one OD scratch wheel at some point, just to make them reconsider a few life choices. Yeah, exactly. Stop mashing on your wake up. Stop it. I'll just start doing that shit. Hop backward and... Like, I respect that they're trying to, like... I want to just do scratch wheel. They're also letting rip way too hard with the target combo. Like Elena's standing medium punch target combo. Again, whiffs if people are not standing up. Yeah, like I expected. They have a pretty good grasp of at least some of the things that you want to do with Elena, but not quite. Okay, right. That's fair. That's the eye save. Yeah, there we go. Odie scratch wheel. Good closer.
Round 2. Fight.
Ooh, they were couching. Good slide. The horn. Yeah, I respect it, but 6 HP is hella safe if you only hit with it once. Yeah, they keep trying to do the standing medium punch target combo on me, and I keep crouching under it. They gotta stop doing that. Because literally what's happening is that they keep trying to like hit me with the medium punch target combo, and it keeps going over my head. So they're left standing, and if Elena's standing up, or rather, if Elena is hitting against a standing opponent, she opens up many more opportunities to make them eat shit. So here's the thing that I realized was so important, right? If you get a drive impact with Elena, especially if it like gets a crumple, if you wait a little bit so that the person starts to fall, and then you do her target combo with her standing heavy punch while they're falling from the crumple, it counts as an air juggle. Oh god.
Round 2. Fight.
Yeah, I don't know if it's me or if it's them, but like...
Here, there, then here, and there. My magnum opus! Did that sting? Got you!
Yeah, that's the worst lag I've had.
Aki wins.
No, we're not doing that. Sorry. The lag Boros was real there. Ah, shit. Rashid. So, Rashid is scary because, you remember how I said that Bison is... not very fast? But that once he's ready, like how Bison's not very fast, but like once he's established pressure, you have a really hard time. Rashid is a little bit in a similar but different direction, with the specific caveat that like Rashid is very fast, actually has a reversal, and basically Rashid's primary weakness is just that his buttons are really short. In terms of mix, Rashid has mix for days. Like, I could have punished that. The thing about Rashid is that like while his buttons are very short ranged, in terms of like actual pressure, like Rashid has some of the best in this game, and it's very, very annoying to deal with. And I don't know how to punish I don't know how to punish Eagle Spike yet. Damn it, I botched it. But we're not done yet. On the other hand, Rashid now doesn't have meter, which makes my life a lot easier. But yeah, no, Rashid basically, once he actually gets started, I just need to try to use Rhino Horn whenever I see him do that. Because the thing about Eagle Spike is that like Eagle Spike's like minus 47 on hit or some minus 47 on block or some shit. It's really unsafe. Rashid has to use OD Eagle Spike like for the rushing kick is Eagle Spike, right? Let's lab that actually. Because Cammy's fast enough to just like walk up and punch him in his shit when he tries it. It's something I have to lab out to figure out a punish for. I'm pretty sure that like if he tries it, Elena can probably just hit him with Rhino Horn and it's fine. Look at that, the fist bump. Ooh, good. Yeah. No, you can't do that. You cannot SA. You can't use SA1 like that. Not for Elena. You gotta do SA2 for that. Good sweep. Yep. And do that. You gotta confirm the hits for spin side. Gotta confirm them because that gap. I think maybe medium or heavy spin type or OD might frame trap in that situation. I don't know. Good scratch wheel. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I'm not upset about that. That was pretty good. Yeah, I gotta be careful because they'll... I don't know if this will kill. I don't think it will. They saw me walking backward and tried to catch me with the slide. I respect it, but like, nah, that wasn't gonna happen. That's the thing, right? Because like, Elena, the thing about Elena's slide is that like many other characters. Okay, let's do this thing with Rashid before I forget. Is this the same Aki I just fought a second ago? Whose internet was like absolutely fucking terrible? It is. If their internet's not as bad, then this will be fine. Okay. Ooh, that's her. Ooh, that was a deep jump in. Ooh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's fair. I'm not upset about that. I got cooked. Good. That's good. Yeah, that's fair. Good throw. Yeah, I'm not dead, but it's gonna hurt a lot. They are still at the drive disadvantage, but if I don't do anything silly in the corner, I should be okay. Like that. I'm cooked now. I made a gamble that they wouldn't pay attention and would get caught, but I was incorrect. That's fair. I was expecting Cat Fist. Ooh. He tried it, and I respect it, but unfortunately, no. Yep, good throw. Oh, that was good jumping. Yep, that one again. That. Ah. Yeah, so basically the way that Aki works is that if she poisons you, other moves that she has will also cause you to like body bounce up or otherwise get set up for more combos. And basically she can be incredibly menacing once she has all of that in account. Like that. Toxic, yeah. Like any situation where Aki can detonate a Toxic Blossom like that, that's her. Especially if she's in the corner, then it's like shit like this happens basically. And then I'm poisoned again. There should not have been enough of a gap there. I was going too slow. Good throw. Yeah, no. Only way would have been to DP that. Good throw. Yeah. That's a deep fucking jump in. And even then, if I'd done OD Scratch Wheel, because of how deep that jump in was, there's a good chance that I might have, even if I'd done OD Scratch Wheel, there's a good chance that I might have, it might have been a safe jump. And for context on what a safe jump is, for people who don't know, the idea behind a safe jump is that you appear to be in a situation where jumping and attacking will leave you vulnerable, but because you land close enough to the ground, you're able to avoid. You're able to actually avoid whenever attack comes out, and then counterattack accordingly. And so when Aki does that very, very deep jump and that very deep attack, where I'll see if I can point it out if it happens again. Good throw. I don't know if that would have come out in time. I would have liked it too, but I don't know if it would have. There we go.
Elena,
So yeah, this is where some of that other stuff I was talking about kind of comes into play, right? Where I was like, knowing combos is helpful, but like a lot of what's like actually helping me out here against this Aki is aside from like getting motioned out at the right times, mostly like is mostly just taking time to like actually make sure I'm getting in other punishes and holding my ground with like quicker, lighter normals and stuff like that. It's not gonna kill, but the main thing I want to do is like force Aki into burnout, because then this. Yeah, that's fair. But they'll still be in burnout when I'm done. So yeah, unfortunately, the pushback from the Nightshade made it so that I was able to like actually defend against the drive rush. I respect it. I see what they were going for, but it wasn't enough.
round 2. Fight.
That's fair. Yeah, if I was gonna do anything about that, I should have done a DP. Yep. Yeah, I gotta start confirming off of 2 touches instead of 3 for spin side, because 3, I'm not always guaranteed to get 3, and that's gonna cause me problems. But yeah, you don't need combos all the time. Sometimes, if your fundamentals are strong enough, you don't need the shit. It's not that you shouldn't study it or that you shouldn't learn combos, but if the first thing that you focus on, if the first thing that you immediately start up on is, if I can't do combos, I can't learn how to play this game, you've already approached this the wrong way, in my opinion. And it's one of those things where I feel like the important thing for you to sort out is, first and foremost, do you even like the way that like the game feels, right? Yeah, so Rhino Horn will work.
Here comes a
there's probably a better punish, but I think the better punishes involve like maybe I can even get like dash 5 HP. Like if I can get dash 5 HP off of that, that would be even better. Okay, Ryu. Ryu got really strong in this patch, so I'm surprised it's the first time I'm like fighting one. But basically, in so many words, Ryu's Hadokens are a lot stronger now than they used to be, and they were already pretty good. Yeah, in the corner, I can get away with like a 3-touch confirm, but yeah, I gotta start getting more comfortable with 2. I respect that you tried. Too slow. Ooh, they messed up the timing just a little. Good throw. I'm probably dead. Yeah, they messed up the timing a little bit. So with Ryu's Shin Shoryuken, if you do not time it correctly off of like the wall bounce, and your opponent's too far away from you, you get that version of Shoryuken instead. Ooh. Yeah, that's good. But yeah, basically, Ryu's main things are that his Hadokens, his regular ones are a lot better. His electrified Hadokens are particularly like the super art variant of it is really, really fucked up now. Ooh, that was good. Good Shoryu. Yeah. Good throw. Now I'm in the corner. That's fair. That's fair. I'm cooked. Yeah, you're gonna have to win.
Round 2. Fight.
Ooh. Is it gonna give out? I'm scared for a little. So yeah, this is where you start getting Elena's mind games, right? Once you have started establishing, if you establish really well with Elena that you know when to slide and how, what happens is that people start looking for slide more often, then you can throw in the overhead. If people start looking for both slide and overhead, you are in a situation where if people start looking for both slide and overhead, you're now in a situation where you can use a shimmy, so walking really close to somebody and walking back the last second, in addition to either of those two options, to like start making people really start guessing about what you're doing. And it's that kind of stuff that I find is also just as important to know when it comes to like actually, you know, understanding how to like play a character. That's sweet. Yeah, so after the Hadouken, they weren't watching their feet. Pop them with that, done deal. Yeah, see. And that's why, especially as you play this game more often, you do not want to try to dive impact people directly into the corner unless you are reasonably certain that you've overwhelmed their mental stack enough that they're not going to react to it. Because a lot of people now would just jump, and then you're cooked. Yeah. The only thing I get wrong when I get Moonglider stuff is when I do Moonglider stuff is remembering to like actually do the Super R3 input. But that's the thing that I can get better at with practice. Good throw. Yep, caught me trying to jump out. I don't know if that was intended to be a Shoryu in case I was trying to jump again, but oops. Ooh, yeah, if I hadn't pushed that follow-up, I might have been safe enough to like maybe, but a lot of maybes. Okay. Yeah, I know. And that wouldn't have been the best punish anyway. Because they were crouching. not gonna kill, but I want to get close to like doing the drive damage. Gonna go smoke BRB. Okay.
Let's end this on a high note.
Yeah. And again, I didn't need to drive impact or anything in that situation when they were near the corner. Because yeah, a lot of people who've been playing this game long enough will, if they are in or near the corner, they will want to jump to avoid getting hit by drive impact. And so the thing that you do in order to make them eat absolute shit is don't drive impact. And then when they jump, you can hit them with an anti-air or in like Elena's case, right? Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. So for Rashid, Eagle Spike, especially as Elena,
Poison's on the menu.
dash 5 HP will probably reach in most situations. Yeah, see? That's why you don't want to like drive impact people near the corner in this game. Because if they know if they've been playing long enough, they'll just jump and avoid it. That's the deep jump in. That might have been a safe jump. Like that might be a safe jump. Yeah. Like you saw how Aki was practically on the ground when that jumping heavy came out. I don't know. I think it's a deep enough jump in that literally if I try to it might be a deep enough jump in that if I try to like scratch wheel it or something, will be the one that eats shit instead. Good though. Yeah, they probably had enough advantage frames after that me trying to mash to knock them out of the drive rush was not going to work. Good throw. They didn't rage quit on me. It's a connection issue. You know what? If I'm having connection issues too, I'm going to take that as a sign that I should probably dip. Alright. I think I know where we want to go. I just need to double check to see if they're still going to be on, if they still have a run left. They should be still on doing Juneteenth stuff, I think. Um, yeah, they're still doing speedrun stuff. So let's be about it. So, yeah, I got somebody. I got disconnected from somebody, so I was like, yeah, this is a good time to dip, probably. So we're gonna go over to the Games Done Quick channel because guess what? Because it is Juneteenth weekend, Games Done Quick is doing a 4-day. You heard me correctly. GDQ Games Done Quick has a hot fix show where they are doing 4 days of black speedrunners doing amazing things while raising money for Doctors Without Borders. Currently, we are in the middle of what looks to be like a spellbound randomizer for Castlevania Symphony of the Night. So we're going to go head over there. Thank y'all for coming by the stream. Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time is going to be us picking up on Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition, Jailbreak Edition. Please don't miss it. Other stuff that you need to know. At some point, I'm thinking I may switch my NeoCities blog over to WordPress instead because that will be easier to like do stuff with. My stream VODs are going to be up on my YouTube. Ko-Fi, if you want to support me in the stream but don't want to give money to Amazon and Jeff Bezos, I prefer Ko-Fi subs over Twitch subs because I keep more money from a Ko-Fi sub, and that money comes to me much faster. I don't have to wait for a payout. And then my Throne is good for gifting stuff anonymously if you want to help support the channel that way. And then my card has my social media links on it, mostly Blue Sky. If you want to know more about the game that I helped co-found, the game that I'm making, and the studio that I helped co-found for making games, go over to community.games. Our Patreon has a free tier. You can join that and support us that way if that is a thing that you feel like doing. And then if you want to play Shoot Lancer itself, there you are. We are going to be having an updated version of the demo out soon for y'all to play over the course of this weekend. So please look forward to it. If you want to hang out with us when we're not on stream, Gilded is the place for that. I don't have a community Discord because Discord does stuff that gets on my nerves, and I don't really trust them that much. That's me. But yeah, next Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, will be more game dev stuff with Shoot Lancer. Next Friday, like I said, no stream because I'll be going to Archway Arcade to go show off Shoot Lancer. And then July will be July. So, thank y'all for coming by. The raid message is SJH does raids, like so. So, yeah, stay safe, wash your hands, wear a mask. If you go outside, please, please, please be excellent to each other. Not the bigots, racist, turfs, sexist, anti-queer folks, or fascists. Black Lives Matter. Trans rights are human rights. Reproductive rights are human rights. Palestine, Sudan, the Congo, New Caledonia must all be free. Generative AI is a plague. Resist it with all your might. Look out for each other in the ways that you can, big or small. Doesn't really matter how, as long as you are. Thank y'all. Deeply appreciate it. Whether I see you on Sunday, I see you on Wednesday, or in the Guild or Discord, wherever that is. Take care. Pet your pets for me if you have any. And I'll catch y'all on the flip side. Enjoy Symphony of the Night, and if there are any other runs afterward, yeah, it looks like we got a couple more. The 20th is going till midnight, so we'll have a little more after Symphony of the Night from Kushi Drive. So please stick around on the GDQ channel and let's bring them out on Juneteenth, on the next day of Juneteenth stuff. Okay? Catch y'all later. Bye.